Hmm, that's not bad, actually. Nice. Okay. Just gonna set this up correctly. Okay, and we're just gonna give it a few minutes, give people an opportunity to join in. Okay. I think we can get ready to get started now. So let's go ahead and move on over to our scene correctly. Boom. There we go. All right, cool. It's coming in nice. So let's move this back a little bit because I'm getting some kind of reverb with my microphone. Not sure I like it. Okay, so first things first, tonight we are going to take a look at all of the new Strixhaven spoilers. So, our next set, we are returning to Strixhaven. We're going to see what the Harry Potter College has gotten up to, and we're going to see what kind of new cards we're going to be playing with in the next standard. So, first things first, we're looking at this card over here. This is Graduation Day. So it's a 1 white enchantment. It says Repartee, which is a mechanic that I'm not familiar with. But it says, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So I like this. I mean, this is pretty cool because like this works not just for when you are targeting like your own stuff with buffs, but this works really well when you are like casting removal spells on your opponent. You cast a removal spell on your opponent, and then you get a +1/+1 counter on something of yours. It's really, really interesting. So this is a kind of card that I would probably play in either like a blue-white, either like flyers or like low to the ground aggro deck, maybe even Merfolk, because we got a lot of Merfolk out of Lorwyn. Or I would probably play it in a white and black deck that runs a lot of removal. So that's a pretty decent card. I can see this being really, really good and limited too. Okay, next up, we have Joined Researchers. So this is one of the new cards that have a prepared spell. So the way prepared works is you get a creature, and it comes into play, and it comes into play prepared. So, and while it's prepared, you get to cast the spell that's associated with it in this little corner over here. So, in the case of Joined Researchers, it's a 2/2 with first strike for 2 mana. It says at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent has more cards in hand than you, this creature becomes prepared. So long as it's prepared, you get to um you get to cast a spell. So in this card's state, it's at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent has more cards in hand than you, this creature becomes prepared, allowing you to then cast a spell. And the spell is Secret Rendezvous. It was a card that was in the original Strixhaven. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. Very powerful card, really good for commander. Hi there, how you doing? This is Carlos. How you doing? Good to have you. So we're just going over some new cards in the Strixhaven set. So that's Joined Researchers. Pretty decent. Like at only 2 mana, it's a 2/2 with the first strike. Having the access to the extra spell is kind of just bonus. Alright, next up we have Primary Research. It's 5 mana, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, return target non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of your end step, if a card left your graveyard this turn, draw a card. I think this one's more for limited, because this is a really heavy casting cost for what it's doing. Because typically, returning a card from your graveyard to the battlefield at with a like power or mana cost of 3 or less usually costs like 2 mana tops. At the beginning of your end step, if a card left your graveyard this turn, draw a card. That's pretty decent too. But again, really high casting cost. You can get these kind of effects for much, much cheaper. So I probably wouldn't bother too much with this card. At least not in standard. Okay, next up we have Shattered Acolyte. It's a 2/2 with a lifelink for 1 and a white. It says 1, sacrifice this creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So just about every set that comes out, we get a variation of this card. This one happens to be a little bit better because it has a lifelink. Typically, you'll get a card that just says, is like a basic 1/2 or 2/2 with the sacrifice this creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment. While it's a very good ability, it's been reprinted and functionally reprinted so many times that it's not really all that exciting anymore. There's so many variations of this card. My personal favorite version of this card is Cathar Commando. It was a 3/1 with Flash that also did this. So I really like that because you could play it anytime. Yeah. Moving on. Okay, there's the Drain Resources again in an extended art. And we have Augusta, Order Returned. This is 3 mana for a 1/3 with Flying and Vigilance. This is a Spirit Advisor. It says, whenever Augusta attacks, each player exiles a card from their graveyard. When 1 or more non-land cards are exiled this way, put that many +1/+1 counters on target attacking creature. Now, also, note the set symbol right there. This is a commander card. You will not be seeing this in standard. But for this ability, pretty damn good, especially when you're playing with 3 other people. Whenever Augusta attacks, each player exiles a card from the graveyard. When 1 or more non-land cards are exiled this way, put that many +1/+1 counters on target attacking creature. Really, really solid. Especially when you're putting it on Augusta. Flying Vigilance, getting bigger, and handling your opponent's graveyards. Pretty good. I like this card a lot. Honestly, I would be pretty happy to play this in standard. Ceaseless Conflict, 5 mana, sorcery, destroy all creatures. Okay, we have our board wipe of the set. Every set gets a white board wipe. Destroy all creatures, then create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token for each non-token creature you controlled that was destroyed this way. So, again, commander card. Pretty solid card, though. It's a 5 mana, which is a little expensive. Typically, you want to be board wiping for 4 mana. But at 5 mana, you get to destroy all creatures and then replace your creatures that died with 3/2 spirits. That's pretty decent. I like that. Iganjo Dinosaurian. So this is a creature from the plane of Kamigawa, because Iganjo was the dynasty in white from Kamigawa. 3 mana, Fox Advisor for 2/3 Vigilance. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, this creature becomes prepared. Okay, that's actually really easy to do, because white is very good at making a lot of tokens. Replenish. Sorcery. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to... Oh my god. They gave us a quasi-replenish reprint. That's actually crazy. So you get to cast Replenish every time you attack with 2 or more creatures. That's ridiculous. I can see people building around this very easily. That is an awesome card. Oh man. Okay, next up. Forum Filibuster. 5 mana, enchantment, also commander card. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. When you do, return up to 1 target aura or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that token. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. I mean, for Commander's a format where you play a little bit slower because you're playing with other people, like 3 other people. But being able to create a 2/1 Inkling creature token with flying, and then you get to take an aura or equipment card from your graveyard and then bring it back attached to a creature. That's kind of bananas. I like that a lot. All right, we got Herald of Amity. It's a 2/2 flying 4 mana commander card. When this creature enters, exile the top 8 cards of your library. You may cast an aura spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That's actually pretty solid, because you can play or like, make your deck with like some really expensive auras, like I think like Gigantify was one of them. You can just give like +8/+8 or some shit to it, and not have to pay the casting cost. That's pretty solid. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of auras you control. Yeah, I can see that Griffin getting out of control really fast. That's actually pretty cool. 4 mana is pretty expensive though, but that's a really, really solid effect. Vanguard of the Restless, 3 mana. Spirit Knight, flying, 2/2. Spirits you control get +1/+1 for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Okay, that's awesome. Whenever a spirit you control enters, you may pay 3. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow, that's actually really good. So, well, let's go Spirit Tribal. Pretty good. All right, next up we got Augusta. Okay, that's the extended art Augusta. Ceaseless Effort again, Iganja. Okay, so these are all just extended art cards here. We can move on from that. Okay, here we go. Here's some new stuff. Flickering Ward. 1 white mana enchant creature. As this aura enters, choose a color. Enchanted creature has protection from the chosen color. This effect does not remove this aura. Alright, that's awesome. And then 1 white mana, return this aura to its owner's hand. Awesome. So that's actually pretty solid and pairs up really well with that Griffin. It doesn't apply any power, but it does give protection and evasion, so that's really solid. Especially because you can pay 1 white mana and return that aura to your hand, and then put it somewhere else if you need to. The only thing this card is really missing is Flash. Moonshaker Cavalry. Now this is a reprint, but a pretty solid one at that. It's basically your white Craterhoof Behemoth. 8 mana, 6/6, Flying Spirit Knight. When this creature enters, creatures you control gain flying and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Absolutely brutal card. That is the card that you're going to be using to end games. Staff of the Storytellers next. We got 1 and a white for an artifact. When this artifact enters, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Whenever you create 1 or more creature tokens, put a story counter on this artifact. White, tap, remove a story counter from this artifact, draw a card. Oh, interesting. So it's card draw. When the artifact enters, you make a 1/1 flying guy. Whenever you create 1 or more creature tokens, put a story counter. Okay, so it comes in, it makes a spirit, then immediately puts a story counter on itself because it made a spirit. And then you can pay a white, tap, and remove that counter to draw a card. That's actually really solid. Because like this can work really well with not just spirit decks, but with proliferate decks. Wave of Reckoning. 5 mana. Each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Now that is a cool card. Especially if you're playing a deck that runs a lot of like creatures with big butts. Like I can see you running was like Abzan Tree Folk and coming out on top with this card. Johnny's Chosen. 4 mana, 3/3, Cat Soldier. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, create a 2/2 white cat creature token. If that enchantment is an aura, you may attach it to the token. Right, that's pretty cool. Pretty decent. Yeah, that's actually pretty solid. It does a lot for only 4 mana. Angel of Indemnity. 6 mana for a 5/5 flying with lifelink. That's pretty expensive. When this creature enters, return target permanent card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Permanent okay, that actually hits a lot because there's a lot of stuff that costs 4 or less mana that would be very relevant to bring back with this card. Encore is 6 and 2 white. You can pay the Encore cost. Exile this card from your graveyard. For each opponent, create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. They gain haste. Sacrifice them in the beginning of the next end step. Activate a sorcery. Okay, so when this dies, you can pay the big mana cost to bring a ton back from your graveyard and just throw them at your enemies. That's actually really solid, especially because it has lifelink. So if you're behind, you can Encore, attack 3 different people, gain 15 life. That's pretty damn good. Okay, then we have Angelic Destiny. 2 colorless, 2 white. This is a reprint. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4, has flying and first strike, and is an angel in addition to its other types. When enchanted creature dies, return this card to its owner's hand. Pretty good. This card is a card that used to see a pretty decent amount of play, but The thing with auras is that you are putting a lot of faith in your ability to protect the creature that's enchanting, because you're gonna try to put it on a creature, and your opponent's just gonna go, no, I'm just gonna remove that creature, and then you're out Angelic Destiny, and you're out the creature itself. So not the best. Ooh, here's a good reprint. Ao the Dawn Sky. This was in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. I really liked this card. 5/4 for 5 mana, Legendary Dragon Spirit. Flying Vigilance, and when Ao dies, choose one. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then the other choice is put 2+1/+1 counters on each permanent you control. That's a creature or vehicle. Really, really solid card, especially for only 5 mana. Archaeomancer's Map, 3 mana, artifact. When this artifact enters, search your library for up to 2 basic planes cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. 2 basic planes, that's quite a bit. And white doesn't really ramp all that effectively, but this isn't exactly ramp, it's putting the cards into your hand, which is still good because then you're thinning your deck out of potential lands. So better to get the lands into your hand so you don't draw them later on as dead cards. Whenever land an opponent controls enters, if that player controls more lands than you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Well, that's even better. So yes, it's a deck thinning and almost land tax in one card. Pretty good. Archon of Sun's Grace is 4 mana for a 3/4 flying lifelink Archon. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying and lifelink. Actually, pretty decent. I mean, 4 mana, doing a lot, giving your Pegasi lifelink as well. That's really solid. Armored Sky Hunter. It's a 3/3 for 4 mana. It's a cat knight with flying. Whenever this creature attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put an aura or equipment card from among them onto the battlefield. If an equipment is put onto the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control. Put the rest of those cards on the bottom of your library in random order. So we're seeing a lot of cards that really care about equipment and auras and attachments. I'm also kind of surprised that we're not seeing modify being mentioned at all. Chains of Custody. 3 mana, enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature has ward 2. Okay, so that's kind of like a different variation on Sheltered by Ghosts. Sheltered by Ghosts is better though because it costs 1 less. It gives lifelink to the creature. Also has the ward 2. And also gives +1 power to the creature. So this is decent, pretty decent for a common, but also you notice the set symbol there. This is a commander card. Claim Jumper. This is a reprint. This card is actually still in the standard right now. 3 mana, 3/3, Vigilance. When this creature enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you may search your library for a plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Then, if an opponent controls more lands than you, repeat this process once. If you search your library this way, shuffle. It's actually a pretty decent card for only 3 mana. Doesn't see any play, though. Combat Calligrapher. 4 mana for a 3/3 with flying. Inklings you can... Sorry. Inklings can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. So, pretty good protection card there. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, that attacking player creates a tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying that's attacking that opponent. Okay, so this is going to generate Inklings for your opponents, but also give you the protection that they can't then send those Inklings after you. So that's actually pretty decent. Dark Steel Mutation, 1 and a white for an enchant creature. Enchanted creature is an insect artifact creature with base power and toughness 0/1 and has indestructible. And it loses all other abilities, card types, and creature types. So it becomes an indestructible cockroach. Pretty good. Not too bad too, because like you don't see a whole lot of like transformation style cards in white. Usually that's a blue card effect. Drum Bellower, 3 mana for 2/1 spirit, flying. Untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. Well, that's actually pretty damn good. I mean, again, like that's kind of playing with the color pie there, because that's typically a blue spell effect to untap all your stuff. Okay. All right, next up is Eidolon of Countless Battles. 3 mana for a 0/0 enchantment creature spirit. It has Bestow for 2 colorless and 2 white. That means is if you cast this card for its Bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again while not attached. This creature and enchanted creature each get +1/+1 for each creature you control, and +1/+1 for each aura you control. Wow, that's actually pretty decent. So, on its own, it comes in as, I think, a 2/2. So, because it gets +1/+1 for each creature you control, and +1/+1 for each aura you control. Okay, so no, if you cast it on its own, it comes in as a 1/1, because it's not an aura unless you bestow it. Firemane Commando. 4 mana for 4/3 with flying, Angel Soldier. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. Whenever another player attacks with 2 or more creatures, they draw a card if none of those creatures attacked you. That's actually pretty good. So I like that it pays off your opponents for not attacking you. That's pretty cool. I like that. Ghostly Prison. This is an ancient reprint. This card actually saw a lot of play back in the day. 3 mana. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that is attacking you. So it's like a little bit of like attacker tax. It's pretty good. Gift of Immortality. 3 mana, enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Return this card to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step. Let me read that again. When an enchanted creature dies, return that creature to the battlefield under its owner's control. Okay, so it's like casting a resurrection spell on delay for a card. Return this card to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so if the creature dies, it comes back immediately. And then your opponents have an opportunity to kill that creature again before the turn end triggers, and then Gift of Immortality comes back onto the creature. So that's very interesting, because like it gives your opponent a window of opportunity. I mean, typically, you'd want to just exile the creature that this is targeting, but it's a pretty decent workaround, especially if your opponents aren't playing a whole lot of exile effects. Guardian of Faith, 3 mana, flash vigilance for 3/2. When this creature enters, any number of other target creatures you control phase out. Now that's great. That's a fantastic card, because as flash, you just flash it in when someone plays like a board wipe or something, phase out your entire board, and then everything else gets blown up, and then your stuff comes back later. That's really, really solid. I like that a lot. Guardian Scale Lord, 5 mana for a 3/4 dragon. Backup 1. When this creature enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following abilities until end of turn. Flying. Whenever this creature attacks, return target non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is this creature's power. That's really, really good, because you're giving this ability to another creature too. Whenever this creature attacks, okay, so yeah, you back up a creature that is not summoning sickness, so it can attack immediately. Whenever this creature attacks, return target non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the creature's power. Yeah, so you give it to like a 2/2 or like a 3/3, maybe something with flying that's going to be attacking anyways, and then you get back something from your graveyard, like say like an Oblivion Ring or something, because it says permanent, it doesn't say creature, so you can get back enchantments, you can get back artifacts, and heck, you can get a planeswalker back if you need it to. It's like it's a really solid card effect. And the fact that you can give it to other creatures is awesome too, because the backup gives this card text to another creature and a +1 counter. So that's kind of awesome. Okay, next up we have Kami of Ancient Law. 2/2, sacrifice this creature, destroy a target enchantment. Okay, easy enough. And this one I kind of like more than the one we saw earlier because there's no activation cost here. It's just destroy. Sacrifice, you destroy. End of story. My microphone is acting up a little bit. Not liking it. It's doing some kind of weird reverb. Let me see if I can fix that with it. Let's see here. Test. Oh, that's even worse. Let's go. Hello? Test 1 2. Test. It's just about as bad. All right, go again. Test 1 2 1 2. Yeah, okay. This pattern is probably the best. It's just not working out as well as I wanted it to. One moment. Technical difficulties. There we go. Test 1 2. Okay, that's a little bit better. We'll have to deal with it. So I'm sorry for the reverb a little bit. That's something I can really fix at the moment. Okay, let's move on. So, we have Karmic Guide. Okay, this is a really old reprint. This card originally came out in, I think, Urza's Destiny or Urza's Legacy. One of those Urza sets. So, it's 2/2 Angel Spirit for 5 mana. It says Flying and Protection from Black. Echo 3 and 2 white. So, the Echo cost means you have to pay the Echo cost the next turn after this comes into play. Otherwise, you have to sacrifice it. When this creature enters, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this will reanimate anything. No stipulations on that. So the great thing about the Echo cost here is you can play the Karmic Guide and then just not pay the Echo cost. Just let it die next turn. And you get to keep the card that it resurrected in the first place. Karmic Guide is a really, really good card. Glad to see that coming back. Core Spirit Dancer, 2 mana for 0/2 Core Wizard. This creature gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. Whenever you cast an aura spell, you may draw a card. Okay, so this is a an interesting twist on the the Enchantress playstyle. Typically, Enchantress cards are in green, not white, but this one is actually really good because it's only 2 mana. It's a 0/2. It gets +2/+2 for every aura that you slap on her. And whenever you cast an aura spell, you draw a card. Okay, so that's the difference here is it cares about auras specifically, not any enchantment. It has to be an aura. All right, next up, another really solid reprint. This time being reprinted into Mythic. This is Land Tax. This is an ancient card, like going all the way back to like Alpha Beta. 1 white mana for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. If your opponent has more land than you, you get to draw 3 from the middle of your deck. That's basically what you're doing. Because you're taking any basic land cards out of your deck so you don't have to draw them later. So even if you don't get to play them as a ramp, it's still really damn good. Mangara the Diplomat. Mangara. 2/4 for a 4 mana, 2/4 lifelink, human cleric. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures. Hold on, let me say that again. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures. Is there anything you would not be attacking with that isn't a creature? If 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. That's actually pretty solid. I like that a lot. Because it's 2/4 with lifelink. It's a pretty decent blocker. Whenever someone comes at you with at least 2 creatures, you get to draw a card. Whenever an opponent plays at least 2 cards a turn, you draw a card. Like it's really punishing for opponents that want to try and swarm you. I like that a lot. Martial Impetus, 3 mana, enchantment aura, enchant creature. The enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and is goaded. What goaded means is it has to attack, but it can't attack you. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, each other creature that's attacking one of your opponents gets +1/+1 until end of turn. That's not too bad. 3 mana is quite a bit to ask for that, though, so don't know how much this is going to see play. Monologue decks. 2 and a white. Enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you create a treasure token. I like that. I like that a lot. That really punishes, like, is it Spellslinger decks. Nils, the Disciplined Enforcer. 3 mana for a 2/2 human cleric. At the beginning of your end step, for each player, put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature that player controls. Okay, read that again. Beginning of your end step, for each player, put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature that player controls. So you can give +1 counters to other people if you want to. Each creature with one or more counters on it can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless its controller pays X, where X is the number of counters on that creature. That is fantastic. I like that a lot. So you just load up your opponents with extra counters so that they can't attack you unless they pay the tax. Path to Exile. Everybody knows this card. 1 mana, exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card. Put that card on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Very solid card. Pearl Ear, Imperial Advisor. Lifelink, 3/4 for 3 mana. Enchantment spells you cast have affinity for auras. Okay, that's good. Whenever you cast an aura spell that targets a modified... Hey, there's that modified word we were talking about earlier. Whenever you cast an aura spell that targets a modified permanent you control, draw a card. Awesome. Fantastic card. Promise of Loyalty, 5 mana. Sorcery. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter on it. That's pretty cool. So every player chooses one creature to keep hold of, and then all the rest of them are gone. So that's it. And then those creatures that remain don't get to come after you. That's pretty solid. Rafine's Guidance. Yeah, this card saw a little bit of play when it was in Standard. 1 white mana, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. You may cast this card from your graveyard by paying 3 rather than paying its mana cost. So this card was good because it worked really well with the connive mechanic. Because you could discard this into your graveyard when you connive, get a +1/+1 counter on the creature that connived, and then cast it from the graveyard. It's a quasi-flashback. Redemption Arc. It's an interesting name for a card. 3 mana, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has indestructible and is goaded. Exile enchanted creature. Oh, okay. So you can enchant a creature that like player 2 has and force them to attack player 3, and it's indestructible and has to attack every turn. And then when you're the last opponent left, you can just exile it by paying 1 and a white. That's awesome. I like that. Remorseful Cleric. Flying, sacrifice this creature, exile target player's graveyard. Not bad. 2/1 for 2 mana, flying. It can get some beats in. And then when it's about to die, you just sacrifice it. There goes your graveyard. That's really solid. I like that a lot. Sage's Reverie. 4 mana. Enchant creature. When this aura enters, draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Okay, so you draw a card for each aura you control that is attached to any creature. So if you got like 4 creatures with 4 enchantments on them, that's draw 4 cards. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that is attached to a creature. And the creature that you put Sage's Reverie on just gets really big. That's great. Fantastic. Oh, and there it is, the Secret Rendezvous. So that's the card we were talking about earlier. 3 mana, you and target opponent each draw 3 cards. It's pretty bad when you're playing one-on-one, but in a situation where you're playing 4 players like Commander, you can really politic pretty hard with this card. This is a really solid draw spell for yourself and one other person. Selfless Spirit. 2/1, 2 mana, flying, sacrifice this creature. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end turn. Really solid card. Love to see it back. Sentinel's Eyes. 1 white mana, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. Escape 1 white mana. Exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. So you may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Pretty good. So if you pay a white and exile 2 other cards, Get it back, goes onto a creature. New creature has +1/+1 and vigilance. Not bad. Sarah Paragon. This was one of my favorite cards when it was in standard. This card is just so powerful. It just generates so much value. Look at this. So for 4 mana, it's a 3/4 with flying and an angel. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land from your graveyard or cast a permanent spell with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. If you do, it gains when this permanent is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile it, and you gain 2 life. This card is fantastic, not just for getting like important cards back from the graveyard, but this pairs really, really well with fetch lands. So let's say, for example, you're playing one of the fetch lands from New Capenna. Specifically those ones, because those ones, they come into play and immediately sacrifice themselves to go get a land. And also you gain 1 life in the process. If you got the fetch land back from your graveyard using Sarah Paragon, it will then immediately come in, immediately sacrifice itself, and then you gain 3 life. 1 from the land itself and 2 from the Sarah Paragon. So this is a great way of like getting a lot of life all at once and getting more lands out of your deck. It's a really solid card. But not just that, but like getting important cards back from your graveyard every turn, really, really solid card. Sarah Paragon is a fantastic card. Savine's Reclamation. 3 mana, sorcery. Return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your battlefield. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, you may copy the spell, and you may choose a new target for the copy. Flashback cost is 5. Solid. Really solid card. So, same thing that Sarah Paragon does. Any permanent, mana value 3 or less, back onto the table. This can target lands. It's awesome. I love this card. Sheltered by Ghosts. We were talking about this earlier. Really solid card. It's still in standard right now. 1 and a white. Enchant aura. Enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchanting creature gets +1/+0, has lifelink, and ward 2. Really, really solid removal spell. Shielded by Faith, 3 mana, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has indestructible. Whenever a creature enters, you may attach this aura to that creature. Okay, that's awesome. So, it comes in, makes the creature indestructible. Let's say you play another creature, that you can then make the choice to move Shielded by Faith over onto the new creature. Really, really solid. Next up, Skyclave Apparition, 3 mana, 2/2, for a core spirit. When this creature enters, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with mana value 4 or less. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX blue illusion creature token, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Also, really, really solid card. It's like, it's situational removal, but it's also a 2/2 creature. Can't really be too upset about that. Songbird's Blessing, 4 mana, enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an aura card. You may put that card onto the battlefield. If you don't, put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Not too shabby. So it's a good card advantage engine there. It's not too bad. Spirit Mantle, 2 mana, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has protection from creatures. So basically makes it unblockable. So +1/+1 and evasion, really good. Saram, the Senior Edificer. So this is a 2/2 for 2 mana, Legendary Dwarf Advisor. Whenever you cast an aura spell, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. Pretty solid. So it's not just great for auras, but it's also great for equipment decks and vehicle decks. Yeah, can't be too upset about that. And really well statted for its cost. It's only 2 mana, 2/2. Great early game card. Starfield Mystic, 1 and a white for a 2/2, human cleric. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Awesome. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Even better. So this is fantastic for the same kind of deck that SRAM wants to go into. Seeing a lot of overlap with like the whole like Enchantress model here. Next up we have Sun Titan. 6/6 for a 6 mana, Vigilance, Giant. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Again, just like with the Sarah Paragon and Sabine's Reclamation, it's like a lot of like little guy reanimation when it comes to white. And Sun Titan is one of the better ones, because this can not only do it when it comes in, but it does it every time this guy attacks. So like this guy is like an inevitability engine. If you don't deal with this guy, you're gonna have some problems. Next up, we got Swords of Plowshares. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. 1 white mana, instant. Awesome card. Tishar, Ancestor's Apostle. 4 mana for a 2/2 with flying. Whenever you cast a historic spell. So, again, a historic spell is either an artifact or a legendary. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Awesome. So, that's pretty good. And again, all about that bringing stuff back from the graveyard theme. We've seen a lot of cards like that. Tokashi's Welcome, 3 mana enchantment. Whenever one or more creatures you control with mana value 3 or less enter, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Pretty decent. Decent draw engine. Really good for token decks. Really good for just little guys decks. It's pretty decent. Then we have Tragic Arrogance. 5 mana sorcery. For each player, you choose from among the permanents that player controls. An artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. Then, each player sacrifices all other non-land permanents they control. Let's just read that again. So, it says, for each player, you choose from among the permanents that player controls an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. Then, each player sacrifices all other non-land permanents they control. Okay, so you do leave them with some things, but in most cases, you're probably going to be leaving them with, like, an artifact and a creature. So it's pretty decent. It doesn't completely clear the board, but it does clear the board, save for some important things. Because you do that for yourself as well, not just your opponents. Transcendent Envoy. Interesting card. Great art on that. 1/2 for 2 mana. Flying. Aura spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Okay, pretty cool. Does sort of the same thing that Starfield Mystic does. Except it's only for auras, though, not just enchantments. So, again, aura-centric. White Orchid Phantom. 2 white mana for a 2/2 flying first strike. Already, I can just stop reading right there, and that's already a good card. When this creature enters, destroy up to 1 target non-basic land. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So, this is pretty good for not only, like, destroying like man lands or like very specific lands that your opponents have, but it's also really good at basic checking your opponent. So making sure that your opponent has basic lands in the deck. Otherwise, this is just straight up white land destruction. Really good card. Winds of Wrath, 5 mana. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They can't be regenerated. Perfect board wipe for the enchantment deck. So very happy to see this back. This is a card that originally was printed in Tempest. Long time ago. Duty Beyond Death. Okay, so we got a few cards from the Mystic Archive here. So you can tell that by the little scroll icon in the set symbol. So Duty Beyond Death is 1 and a white, instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Pretty solid. And honestly, sacrificing a creature in white is not something you see every day. I mean, there are some cards that do it, very few and far between. I remember Martyrdom was probably one of the first of its type. But Duty Beyond Death is actually really good. I like it. Indestructible and a +1 counter on you guys. Pretty good. Reprieve. 1 and a white. Return target spell to its owner's hand. Draw a card. So this is a quasi-counter spell in white. So you don't counter the spell. You just say, here, just put this back in your hand, and we can try that again next turn. But you gotta pay the spell again. And the great thing about this is it allows you to draw cards. You're really not missing out on anything other than the time and mana it took to cast this spell. So it's a pretty good card. This is like a color-shifted Remand. All right, next up we have Japanese language, Duty Beyond Death, and Reprieve, and more copies of it. And we got some tokens here, Contract and Spirit. Okay, and honestly, that's kind of it. Most of the cards that we've seen so far are all commander cards. So, yeah. So like, if we scroll up here, I'm gonna grab the scroll bar because there was a lot of them. Scroll all the way up here. So, yeah. So like we got like 5 cards in white that are base set. Everything else was commander. So we got a lot of commander spoilers. Not a whole lot of standard. So we might need to wait for more standard spoilers, unfortunately. Let's see here. But yeah, and then we get into blue, and we have what, 2? Okay, yeah, we have quite a few spoilers for blue here in the base set. And then it goes into the commander stuff. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we spent quite a lot of time going over the white cards, so I am going to halt it right there because I don't want to spend too much time going over spoilers tonight. We can go over the rest in another video because I'm gonna actually play some games tonight, and I don't have all the time in the world. So we're gonna call it there, and we're going to move on over here. Change this gameplay. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. We gotta go over here. Fix that. All right. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay, cool. So now we are in game, and we're gonna play a few rounds with one of my new favorite decks. So off screen, I threw this together because I really wanted to try and make counter burn work in standard. And it does okay so far. It's not like a top tier deck by any stretch of the imagination. But basically the idea of the deck here is to keep your hand full with draw spells, burn away opponent creatures, and counterspell big spells that would make you sweat a little bit. And you win the game by hitting with Glenelyn Guardian or Picklock Prankster and just kind of burning them out slowly. So it's a pretty slow burn counterspell burninate deck. So I like the way that it plays because it has a lot of options here, a lot of different spells that do different things, that do a little bit of burn. Everything in the deck can go face, with the exception of Fuel the Flames, because that's just a pyroclasm. That's all it is. So that's the deck that we're going to be playing for, I want to say like the next 30 minutes to an hour. So let's go ahead and see how this does right now. Oh, hit the wrong button. One moment. Oh, we need to check our quests here. Cast creature spells, cast blue or green spells, cast black or green spells. Okay, so let's go ahead and re-roll the creature spells. Okay, so we got a quest for blue spells and a quest for red spells, so we'll go with that. Let's jump into standard ranked and see if we can get some wins. Okay, so we get to go first tonight. So we have Agnikella, Riverpire Verge, and Steam Vents. We have Opt, Glenelyn Guardian, Focus the Mind, and Boulder Dash. So I will keep it. It looks pretty decent. Okay, so first up, I don't have anything to do turn 1 other than Opt, so I'm just going to play the Steam Vents and let it come into play tapped. I don't really need to play Opt turn 1. Okay, opponent played Steam Vents into Storm Chaser's Talent. So, looks like we are up against Lessons. Alright, let's go ahead and play the Riverpire Verge. And then I'm going to cast Boulder Dash, dealing 2 to this and 1 to this. Pop, pop. Okay, another Steam Vents, paying 2 mana, or paying 2 life to get it untapped. Boomerang Basics. Okay, and then they're going to cast it again to get another Otter. Okay, very cool. I'm going to play... the Island. Go next, end turn. We're going to see what they do before they choose to attack. If they don't pump their creature up too much, I can cast the Glen Ledger Guardian and block to kill. Okay, they're going to cast Boomerang Basics. Sure. Then they're going to try and cast it again. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so it will be a 3/3, unfortunately. Okay, resolve that. Pass. Okay, so I'm going to opt. Let's see what we're going to draw next turn. Okay, let's send that down. We have too many lands as it is. Okay, that works. Yeah, I'm going to get hit for 3 here. Alright, then we're going to go free the Fae. Look for a card here. Let's get Blooming Blast back. Oh, and we got the Burst Lightning. Fantastic. So we're going to play the Aknakella, and then we're going to Burst Lightning here real quick. And then we're going to Blooming Blast. We're going to gift them a treasure so that we can hit this and also hit them. Pop, pop. Okay, let's see. They are a little hurting for mana at the moment, so giving them that treasure might have actually helped them. Okay, yeah, it actually did, because they're going to draw 2 cards off that. Get a land, okay. You gonna do anything else? They're going to Burst Lightning me, okay. The race is on. I'm going to play this Eroded Canyon. It's going to come in and hit them for 1. And then, you know, I'm just going to do this now. I'm going to play a Picklock Prankster, and then Slick Sequence them so I can draw a card. Perfect. And they are really taking a beating here. I typically play most of my spells on my opponent's turn, but the way that this game has ended up, it's having me play a lot of my cards on my turn. Sure. I'm not worried about that. Restless Spire. Okay, let's get that into play. And I think we just passed the turn at this point. So at this point, we can cast Fuel the Flames on their turn if they play some creatures. If they don't play any creatures, I can cast Glen Ledger Guardian. Okay, they play Artist Talent. Yes, that's fine. I'm going to wait to see what they do. They're either going to level it up this turn or try to cast another spell. It's like, at this point, they really need to get some kind of pressure on the table. Otterball Antics. Okay, let's see this. Create a 1/1 blue and red otter with prowess. And the spell's cast. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cast Glen Ledger Guardian. It's going to come in, and then I'm going to counterspell it. Now I have a 3/4, and you have no mana. Okay, just card to draw. Land. Scry 1. That's good they're finally getting their lands out. Oh, perfect. Let's see here. Let's see here. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. It's almost enough. Almost. So, let's just attack for 3 for right now, and then let them take their turn. Okay, played a Spirebluff Canal. That came a little bit too late. Okay, let's see what they're going to do. The great thing about playing against these decks is they tend to tap out on their turn, which makes it very, very easy for me to be reactive to them. So now that they're tapped out, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to Flame Lash them at the end of their turn, and then we're going to attack with the Restless Vents on our turn. So this game is pretty much wrapped up. Let's see what they're going to do. Okay, they discard that to draw a fresh card. Yeah, I will let that resolve. My fairy is gone. Okay, end of their turn. We're going to blast them for 4. Then my turn, we activate. I think they saw the manland. So, yeah, GG. Always happy to see a Lessons deck in the wild. The great thing about playing against decks that are a known quantity is you know how to play against them. Alright, let's go again. That was fun. Okay, so opponent goes first. We have 2 Eroded Canyons and a Riverfire Verge. That's pretty ugly. But it is 3 lands, though. We got 3 steps ahead, Glen Ledger Guardian, Focus the Mind, and Boulder Dash. I'll keep it. Okay, they play Plains, so we might be up against a an aggressive deck here. So let's open with Eroded Canyon. Get some damage on the table. Okay, an Essence Channeler. So this is a life gain deck. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to play the Riverfire Verge, and I'm going to Blooming Blast. We're going to gift the treasure. Go 2 there and 3 to your face. Now let's see if they use the treasure. They do. For a white. Cast an Essence Channeler. Okay. And another Essence Channeler. Okay, that works for me. Because I can do this. 1 and 1. Pop, pop. That's 3 Essence Channelers in the graveyard. That's fantastic. Here. Eroded Canyon. 1 more to your face. Now the Plains. A Johnny. Ooh, that Ajani would have been good a turn ago. +1 counter on the creature that does not exist. Okay. Next, end turn. So we're just going to pass the turn at this point, just to see what they do, because we are in a very reactive situation here. Alright, +1 counter on a creature that does not exist. Alright, and your turn's over, so I'm going to play a Glen Ledger Guardian. Spirebluff Canal comes in a little bit too late. Attack for 2. Right there. Actually, hang on. Oh yeah, that's fine. We're going to go against your face for now, because you're not going to pop off with that anytime soon. Authority of the Consuls, you say? I'll counter that. Can't be having any life gain around here. Trying to burn you out. Windblade Paladin. Whenever you gain life, put a +1 counter on this creature. Okay. Let's wait for him to target it with the +1 counter. Pop. Okay, let's go Riverfire Verge, and this time we will attack here. Just to keep that in check. Sky Knight Squire. Okay. That's totally fine. Killed by Ghost. Okay, well, we kind of have to do this now. So, I'm going to first cast this, but I'm going to do it for draw 2 cards. And then we're going to cast Slick Sequence. Oh, we have to discard a card first. Discard the Steam Vents. Now cast Slick Sequence on there. Kills the creature, draws a fresh card. And GG. That is kind of what happens. Hey, free card. Unwelcome Sprite. 2/1 flying whenever you cast a spell during a bonus turn, surveil 2. Pretty decent card. Too bad it doesn't have flash. If it had flash, that'd be awesome. Let's go again. Mono red dev, huh? Okay, opponent goes first. We have Eroded Canyon, River Pyre Verge, and Steam Vents, Slick Sequence, Glenelendra, Answer, and Blooming Blast. Let's go. Okay, go with the red. Into Candy Trail. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if they are actually true to their name and play mono red. Nothing to play turn 1, so we're gonna put the Eroded Canyon into play. Artist Talent. Okay, let's go there. Or the Steam Vents. What we got here? Let's do River Pyre. And they are actually playing mono red. Okay. Okay. They didn't do anything this turn, so hit him for 3. Alright. Steam Vents comes in. I'm gonna pay the 2 life to get it untapped. And play Mountain. Going to level 3. Okay. So they're gonna try and burn us out, maybe. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. They discarded a Shock. Yeah. Exile card from my graveyard. You got it. And a Fountain Port Bell. What even is that? This artifact enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in the top, then sacrifice, draw a card. Okay. I'm interested to see what you're doing there, because I'm not seeing any deck quite like this. Okay, you got a bell. Go get a land. Another Fountain Port Bell. Okay, sure. Okay. Anything else? One card left in hand. Alright, well, if they're not doing anything, I'm going to cast Glenelendra Guardian. Okay, we get to take our turn. Mountain, very nice. Okay, next. Now we got Parry. We can counter a spell if we need to. We got Glenelendra's Answer if we need it. We got a lot of cool stuff going on here. Okay, sacrifice, draw a card. Pass. Mountain into Case of Crimson Pulse. What the hell is this? Okay, when this case enters, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. To solve, you have no cards in hand. Solved at the beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand. No. Absolutely not. Yeah, that gets a counter spell. Uh-huh. Got anything else for me? You cast Burst Lightning. Okay. Sure. Okay, it deals 2 damage. Oh, oh, the artist talent is level 3. Oh, okay. So he's about to go off. Okay. That was pretty good for them. Pretty good. Another Soul Guide Lantern. What's that? Channel Dragonfire deals 2 damage to any target. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Opt. Tell me what's coming up. Agnikella? I'll take it. It's a good card. Okay. Let's go ahead and play that. Now, we can play a Gwendolyn Guardian and counter in the same turn. So let's see what's happening here. Okay, got a mountain. Tectonic Hazard. What does this do? Deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature they control, huh? Okay, so he's just doing that so he can draw some cards, right? Okay. Yeah, let that happen. Let's see here. I don't want to waste Gwendolyn's answer on just one thing. Okay, so we're gonna play the Guardian. Okay, sacrifice, draw a card, resolve. Sacrifice the Candy Trail. Okay, he's digging for something. He needs some burn. Okay. Go ahead and counter that. See if he has another burn spell in his hand. Yeah, you're cycling a lot of cards over there, bud. Okay. Another Agnikella. Good thing Agnikella is not a legendary land. That's pretty awesome. Alright. Oh, beat in for 3. Okay, and end the turn. Sacrifice, draw a card. Pass. At the end of your upkeep, discard your hand, then draw 2 cards. Okay. Candy Trail, okay. Resolve. This is a very interesting deck. Gotta give him props for this. So he put both those cards on the bottom, so he's definitely searching for something important. Just interested to find out what it is he's trying to get to. Here we go. Nuke the sack, get 2 guys. Plasma Bolt. Okay, resolve. I like Piece of the Crimson Pulse. Okay. He's going to be drawing a lot of cards. He might end up milling himself out at this point. Anything else? I would certainly hope not. My turn? Alright, it is solved. To you, draw a card. Got another. Let's see here. Let's go Spiral Canal. Next. You're gonna attack for 2. He might end up burning me out at this point. Simply because every burn spell that he is going to be drawing is going to be doing at least 2 extra damage because of the artist talent there. Dandy Trail, okay. I'm willing to believe that this guy has no creatures in his deck. Because he would have drawn one by now. Tonic Hazard, huh? Okay. Resolve that. We'll counter that. Yeah. You will kill the Glenn Ledger Guardian, but it'll save my 2 little guys. He's down to 17 cards left. He's gonna mill himself out if he's not careful. Nope, he's gonna bolt me. That's 5 damage to my face. He's almost there. Yep, that's a shock. This is honestly pretty impressive.